So we finally brought home our first Twisted Barrel bullet trophy. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shootmore. If you're new, welcome. If you've seen some of my content already and you're not subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the match videos. It really lets me know that I'm doing a good job. Today we've got some match footage from the one and only Twisted Barrel. This was supposed to be the match that we shot centerfire in the morning and then rimfire in the afternoon. Unfortunately, I got the flu that week, so I didn't sign up in time to shoot centerfire, so I just went and hung out in the morning with my buddies. I did shoot rimfire in the afternoon. One of the downsides to shooting rimfire in the afternoon at Twisted is the wind. By the time the centerfire course of fire ended, we had 10 to 12 mile an hour constant winds with gusts up to 18. So that's what we were starting on stage one with. This is a reduced length course of fire. We did only have time to do 8 stages. We originally had 9 planned, but ended up having to cut one because centerfire went a little bit longer than we thought in the morning. There were 3 main factors that all contributed to this match being as difficult as it was. 1, obviously the wind. 2, the targets were not big. They weren't the smallest targets, right? They were appropriately sized, but definitely on the smaller side of things. And 3, they were farther shots. I mean, I've got the distances listed on the videos when you look at the target camera, but most of the shots are 150 yards and out. And I mean, when you're talking 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, those are pretty considerable holds. It made it challenging. Spotting your misses was definitely the name of the game. And even if you could spot your misses, sometimes you would make the correction and the wind would change by the time you would get that next shot off, and the correction you made was wrong. So you ended up kind of chasing your tail a little bit, which is what you'll see in the first stage. But before we get into the video itself, I do want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers. A gentleman's name is Sam Mosley. He sent me this very nice, very well written letter. And he has a 3D printing and laser engraving business. And he saw that I had written my initials, actually still here on the backside. I had written my initials in Sharpie on the wind cap on my Kestrel. And he's like, that's not gonna do it, brother. So he makes these Kestrel coins. And you can see I've got one of the targets. I've got the targets there on the Kestrel currently. He made me one with my initials, and he's also got other variations of the targets and colors as well. Really cool concept. You know, it does take a little dab of glue to attach them, but these covers are pretty cheap to replace if you end up wanting to swap them out, so not that big of a deal. I just thought it was a pretty cool way to be able to quickly identify which Kestrel was yours, because we all know we're all using these and most of them are all the same color. I'll make sure to link his website in the description down below, and Sam was kind enough to give everybody that watches my videos 10% off. So you can save 10% off your own custom coins at smcustomproducts.com with code SHOOTMORE. Again, I'll make sure to link this down below. I'll put the code down there as well. Not sponsored. He just sent me these out of good faith and I liked them, so I want to give him a shout out. All that being said, I think quick things to watch out for in the video itself. Wind changing directions. I forgot to turn the microphone on when the video first started, so the audio is not the greatest, but on the first stage, you can just hear the wind ripping on the microphone. Pay attention to the flags. That'll kind of give you an idea of the intensity of the wind as well. But we'll also do the kind of stage by stage brief with each course of fire. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So pipes and rocks. This was the first stage first for the day. Biggest thing here was keeping the firing order in mind. So pipes, it was left to right. You would then move to rocks, and it was right to left. And then you move back to the pipe and do middle, left, right. The wind here, where this is the most open part of the range based on the direction of the wind. Big, nice gap for it to cut through. I think the target was 119 yards, so a pretty decent amount of time of flight on the bullet to be impacted by the wind. And I was just chasing it. I could see, and this is fine. I did finally put it together. The wind kind of became a little more consistent. I was able to utilize that same hold. I think it was pushing the bullet down. I did have to compensate elevation like 1/10. I think one of the first shots ended up dropping below the target, if I'm remembering right. But we end up with 5 impacts for the stage. Given the conditions, you know what? I will take it. He did say 4. I double confirmed. It was 5. It was correct. So. Can't hear each other with all the wind. On to the next one. All right, we skipped stage 2 due to time constraints, which would have been Connex onto rocks, not blocks. Pretty standard stage, 5 positions, 2 shots per position, big then small. You see 2 targets there at C. This entire match was a really good opportunity to practice wind bracketing. Something I need to get better at, but there was definitely ample opportunities. I need to get a pair of binos or a spotting scope or something that has a reticle so I can mill the targets. Luckily, Nick, which you can see on the binos there on the side of the screen, he has a reticle in his binos, so when we shoot together, we're able to share information. I'll double check distances. He'll give the mills, the targets and sizes of mills, and then you can help do that. Utilize that information to bracket wind if necessary. But it would be nice when we don't shoot together to still have the ability to do so. So if you guys have any recommendations on binos or monoculars that have reticles that you like, let me know. I am open to suggestions. On to rooftops. This was really a stage I was proud of. It was a 50-yard KYL, and I always struggle with KYLs in wind like this because I don't know how much I need to hold. The Kestrel was saying to hold like 0.4 based on the wind speed, and I knew that wasn't right because the target was kind of in a gully and it had to be a little more protected. So I'm trying to get a gauge on my impacts with the bigger targets. Couldn't really see where they were impacting. So I ended up holding, so after I moved to the position here, I ended up holding 3/10. And it was off the right, I believe. We'll double check here in a second. So that impact was square. Good, square. I think off left edge, and I can't tell based on this screen. So if I would have held 4/10, I think it definitely would have been a miss based on how skim packed those were. But overall, cleaned it, good stage. I really took this opportunity to try and take into account the obstacles and the lay of the land that are affecting that wind. So even though it might be a 12 or 15 mile an hour wind standing up, that's not what's actually happening inside that gully. So really proud of myself for this thing. All right, next up is the truck. Shooter will take a position on the truck bed, engage target E, 122 yards with 3 shots. Shooter will move to the truck hood, repeat the sequence at E. Shooter will then remain on the hood and engage target F with 4 shots. So it's a 12-round stage. I decided to go tripod rear here for the bed because if you shot on that bed, you know it sucks. There's a lot of flexibility. You can do it without the tripod, but we had plenty of time in the stage. I just wanted to take the extra 10 seconds to deploy, make sure I was stable. Again, wind is the misses here. It was not because of stability. Just trying to get a good wind call and chase your misses appropriately. So wind call carried over pretty well. I think I get 3, yep, the 3 impacts there, and then I think I get all 4 impacts at F as well.
Impact. 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 Impact.
Drop 1. So good stage overall. Definitely learned my lesson shooting on that truck bed before. Use the tripod when you have. Next up we have treetops, 5 positions, 4 will be the tops, 1 will be on the log. Shooter will engage target G at 75 yards and then target H at 120, 1 shot each, hit or miss, move on. Shooter will repeat the sequence for positions 2 to 5. No repeats. This is a no dial stage, so you must hold. I've honestly been practicing holds a lot. This was additional good practice because you can practicing holds in no wind and practicing holds in substantial wind is 2 totally different things.
Impact.
I've kind of toyed around with the idea of artificially adding wind to the scope with a dial, so you're being forced to, in your practice sessions, utilize a different portion of your reticle for the holdovers. Haven't done it yet, but maybe we can do that in one of the future videos. Feel pretty stable here. I mean, the rifle's balanced; it doesn't go anywhere. Chasing the wind is the #1 thing of this match. Alright, so troop line, this is where everything fell apart for me. I was doing good before this, no mental mistakes. We had targets at 100 yards, 175 yards, 225, and 300. Start off the stage without a magazine in the gun. At this point, we were trying to rush to go as fast as we could. I was not paying attention to my process as much as I should have been, obviously. Insert the mag, have burned 20 seconds at this point. Go to I.
Impact. Impact.
Impacts at I are good. Move to target J, which is 175. Remember to dial. I don't know why I locked the turret, but I did.
Impact.
Made the correction on the wind call, got my impacts at J. Again, just wasting a lot of time. I don't know what I was looking at there. Go to dial, and this is where we start to have problems. Low. Good windage. No call. Also low. Good windage. Low. I wrote my dope wrong, guys. I wrote 7.6. It was supposed to be 8.6. Don't know why. It's the first time I've done that. I think it's just because we were rushing. Also, ran into problems at 300. I wrote the dope correct because I had the card still from this stage, and the dope lined up with the environmentals when I ran it back through my Kestrel. But I had to hold, after the stage, after I timed out, I kept shooting at the target trying to figure out what was going on. I was having to hold a 3 mil wind hold at the top of the target to make the impact on the lower third. Part of me just wonders if it was wind pushing the bullet down, but that would be pretty substantial. So could never explain what happened at 300, but I do know for certain at 225, I wrote my dope wrong on the card. So slow down, take your time, make sure you are following your process, and don't do what I did. Okay, last stage, PRS Barricade. As you can tell, we are losing light and we are losing it fast. Was really happy with how the Razor performed here. It isn't dark like this just because I didn't set the exposure right on the camera. We are very much so losing light. 2 targets, took a second to find them because there's no marker on them, and at this point they're pretty shot up and blend in with the glass. Goodness. They blend in with the grass pretty well, but overall, I think I cleaned this stage, and it was a really good way to end it. Good way to keep 0.
Impact. 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 Good shooting, clear stage.
Clean run, 75-23.
So there you have it. We did bring home our first bullet trophy from Twisted Barrel. I did end up placing 3rd place overall. 1st place was a guy, they came from Tennessee, I believe, Memphis area, and he whooped us. He was ahead by like 10 or 12 targets. It was ridiculous. So definitely props and much earned by Will. This match was a really good reminder to keep your head in the game. Don't count yourself out. Everybody is shooting the same conditions that you are. Just because you're not doing as well as you think you should be doesn't mean other people aren't doing worse, right? So control what you can control, keep your mind right. I did end up leaving out 2 stages, I think, from this. They were pretty lackluster, not really much to write home about. I kind of don't like that some of these match videos are like 25+ minutes long, so let me know in the comments, do you guys like the shorter videos? Do you like the longer videos? All that being said, remember, if you guys want your own focus Kestrel coin, the link will be linked in the description down below. Code Shootmore for 10% off. Again, a big thanks to Sam for sending these over. I hope you guys like the content, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.